Welcome to almost action theater. It's a comedy. It has elements of action, and I think if you have not seen 1985's Real Genius, you might be in for a really treat. With me, as always, Deleted Scenes. How you doing there, Deleted Scenes?
Oh, fair to partly cloudy. Just got home from work, so I'm still logging on to everything. But as long as everyone can see us and hear us, I think that's good enough to go. Good enough to go.
As much as we would love to show these here on YouTube, we are
Mhm.
restricted by copyright law and cannot show them, so we provide a secondary screening room for you. It should be pinned at the top here. Uh, would you like to tell good folks some quick synopsis of the film if the lead? Okay.
Hold on,
Snap.
booting up right now.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Real Genius, 1985. Is billed as a comedy romance sci-fi film. It's rated PG, runs 108 minutes. An uptight teenage prodigy enters a top engineering college, but it feels awkward among the freewheeling students when a professor aims to turn their laser project into a military weapon. He and his offbeat roommate plot to ruin the plan.
All right.
Yep.
So if you follow us over to the screening room right there, we will get things underway.
Head on to chat to Connie Clary. And Words and Pictures.
Hey, words and pictures.
Pictures joining us from
Good
across
to
the
see you.
pond. Of course, Connie Clary. Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member. Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel. And the TriStar Pictures logo.
This is one of Val Kilmer's really great performances. He puts a really good character spin on Chris Knight, uh, Whiz Kid genius. Of course, you had William Atherton is there. You might know him from Ghostbusters and Die Hard. Yes, he's that guy.
Virgin Pictures. This is first time with the film, and it's been so long since I've seen it that it may as well be.
This would certainly make my top 100 greatest films of all time. I've enjoyed this film that much. Hope you would too.
Yeah, it's in the hole. Ow! He's going to feel that in the morning. Montezuma's revenge like a mother effer. This is an opening you probably could have found in that movie, Deal of the Century. I don't know if you remember Deal of the Century or not.
Yeah, I
Bill or
remember
Jack,
that
but,
one.
yeah. I always thought this was the missing link between a Deal of the Century and Head Office anyway, so. Basically, yeah. Did I say liquidate? I didn't say that, did I? Did you mean it? Did I say it? Yeah, but you mean it now.
Hello, Daniel's Hot Topics. Good to see you. Here we have William Atherton's character recruiting a high school student, a gifted high school student.
Yeah, so far, so good. Daniel's running a little behind on today, but we're here. And just a few minutes into the film, our second lead here, Gabe Jarrett. The only other movie I ever remember seeing him in was Karate Kid 3, where he picks a fight with Ralph Macchio, to which I responded with, nope, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him in much in anything more after this. They did a good job for this one.
Yeah, he's good in this, yeah. That's your real hair. Of course, the introduction of Val Kilmer as Chris Knight. Mhm. Yeah. Various rock stars from the 70s and 80s. I don't know. I've been waiting 40 years for you to do it.
So this college is supposed to be like a MIT
Mhm.
technical school,
Oh, wow.
basically Caltech, but not be Caltech.
Mhm. Jonathan Gries, who damn near steals the movie as Laszlo.
Another great character actor. He
Yeah.
was in a lot of things in the 80s. Monster Squad, he played a
Mhm.
werewolf. And he was also a werewolf in Fright Night 2.
Of course, also running Scared and the Pretender TV series. Yeah.
He saw me. Just a weird color scheme for a house. Red and green. I mean, what? Are you a fanboy of Christmas or something? This guy, he might have. Have you guys seen the movie Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks? He was also in Bachelor Party, playing the protagonist. They're giving myself shock treatment. Yes, Tim, that's Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison in The Doors. FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. Welcome.
Hey, Tim.
No, this is real genius. Mutant hamster races. That sounds like something I would definitely have on the Ocho.
Mhm.
This actress was also in Revenge of the Nerds.
Mhm. Mhm.
He was obviously kidding, right? Me? Where'd he go? He went into this closet. Gotta pay some trapdoor or something. Hey, wash your hands, man. That's gross. Leave the bathroom without washing your hands. How dare he? Oh, looks like we temporarily lost deleted. Hope you had hurried back. Deleted. I always thought this was the cool scene here. He's using liquid nitrogen put in the vending machine to get whatever he wants, coffee and snacks. I always wondered if that would actually work. So I wonder if MythBusters ever uh, did a segment on it. I'm curious to know if it would actually work. Hey, how does that man in my closet keep doing that? I like this. The entire classroom is being recorded by a tape recorder. He's the only one in class, and everybody left their tape recorders. The thing he was doing with his coins, he did the same thing in Top Gun and a few other films. Imagine getting to your class in the morning where not even your professor's there. It's a recording being recorded by other recorders. It's like, wow, they really don't know how to manage their time in college. I thought they would be good at. He finally found the secret of the man in his closet. Followed him down. Narnia is in his closet, says words and pictures. He's got a replica of the presidential desk. What the hell's a megawatt? What's next? Gigawatts? Hey, don't get racist on me. That was a joke, people. A joke. A bad one. No one could say that I take a college try at humor. Hail Venabite. Deleted. I believe he is having an internet issue or a PC issue. Maybe he'll rejoin us before the program's over. Neither am I, Jerry. I don't know. I found it in one of the labs. Take a step back. Take a step forward. Take a step back. And then we got it. And the Nokia camera plant blew up. It's a laser. Follow it. Best way to announce a private party. Tanning Invitational. Here you have a side character who was both in Karate Kid 2 and Pearl Harbor, and has reprised his role in Cobra Kai. You may recognize him. How dare you? What a narc. What a maroon. That's a good one, Tim. Look, he has his own flotation device. Yeah. KNLA is a real radio station. Okay. Thank you for spitting out back there, FKHC 2005. Oh, but playing doctor is kind of fun. You should try it sometime. I mean, we're college students. You can't expect us to practice finding the anatomy a non-student thing. the answer for everything. That's pretty bold. Incite craziness. Oh, let's unpack. Okay, we're gonna need a made stat. Oh, welcome back.
Yeah.
Timestamp is 5408.
Mhm. Yeah. Damn.
Go ahead.
Van Ryan's Express. Never heard of that one.
Frank Sinatra film. It's about a break out of a prison camp.
They got a goldfish aquarium water bottle.
Training montage.
Yeah, 80s films were notorious for this educational or
Yeah.
sequences or learning, test, cramming. Notice he had a Elvira on his wall on a newspaper clipping cutout. This is what it looks like when a genius cracks under pressure. They're used to it. They're geniuses. Somebody always cracks in the end. Math is hard. The language of mathematics. You set fire to your little glass box.
Okay, kid, better get those other 5 inches out right now. Uh-huh. Wouldn't trust this guy with a bottle of milk.
He got so much oil on his hands, and then he made this tiny little smudge. A 3-hour exam? Damn, that's a long test. The old exploding apple trick. It's a good thing he didn't bite into it. That could have been messy. There was no FBI called to the campus. I passed, but I failed.
Bad for you.
I'll buy you a car. I don't have one, but it's my dad's.
Pecker, I finished your laser.
Isn't this young lady in Twin Peaks?
I can't tell who it is.
Okay, so it does look like the same girl.
Don't tease me. Yeah. Starting to see pictures, ain't you?
find him and kill him. No, after he talks. Everybody just walks by. This is normal.
Yeah. Am I? Terrible. They shoot us. Looks like they got the car out of the dorm.
Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago.
That is the B-1 bomber, I believe. Or F-111.
I would doubt seriously that the Air Force would have let him film this movie there on a real base.
We're trying to warn Kent. Don't go in there, Kent.
Well, that's a lot of popcorn.
Kids are having fun. You can't stand this hat popcorn. Perfect.
No, because the movie's over.
The house. The house.
The Leaning House of Popcorn.
And that was directed by a woman director. She did very good directing this.
Martha Coolidge.
So you can consult the scrolls.
All righty. Real Genius was released on August the 7th, 1985. Estimated budget $8 million. Going on to gross worldwide $13 million. Filming locations all in California included Claremont, Los Angeles, San Diego, Canyon Country, Eagle Rock, 15632 Saddleback Road in Santa Clarita, which was Hathaway's house. Hollywood Center Studios, Crystal Springs Ranch, General Atomics, San Diego, Occidental College, 1600 Campus Road, Eagle Rock, Los Angeles, and Pomona College, 333 North College Way, Claremont, California. On to the trivia. A scene where Chris floats outside his classroom suspended in a lounge chair attached to several balloons appeared in the preview version, but not in the released film. Credited actor Michael Bax is the husband of director Martha Coolidge. The film was predominantly inspired and loosely based on actual events at Caltech, aka the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena. When Laszlo sends in a large number of entries to the Frito-Lay contest, he is mirroring the actions of Caltech students Steve Klein, Dave Novikov, and Barry Magdal, who in 1974 used a similar strategy to win a McDonald's sweepstakes. Their entries came to roughly 1/5 of the total entries and won them a station wagon, $3,000 in cash, and $1,500 in food gift certificates. Writings on the walls and the steam tunnels, Light Your Way, etc., are references to the game Wizardry and its sequels, in which clues can be found scrawled on the walls of the dungeon. The ending credits contain thanks to Sir Tech for Wizardry, alternatively assuming that Pacific Tech is meant to represent Caltech, The writing on the walls of the steam tunnels could be representative of the real writing on the walls of the real steam tunnels at Caltech. All right, the liquid nitrogen coins have baffled viewers for many years and are considered by many to be a goof. However, the very first draft of the script shows that it wasn't an error. The thermos contains liquid nitrogen, which in turn contains a column of supercooled CO2, which is what Chris uses in the vending machine. In earlier versions of the script, potassium cyanide laser, not the bromide argon laser, used frozen fuel. This is why Chris tells the laser to stay cool before he goes off to take Hathaway's exam. The aircraft featured in the movie was a B-1B Lancer. Today, a real-life analog exists in the United States Air Force's Airborne Laser Project, a collaboration with Boeing involving a modified 747 cargo jet carrying a megawatt oxygen iodine laser whose purpose is to shoot down enemy ballistic missiles. In the scene where Laszlo walks in with his cartons of sweepstakes entries, the book Mitch is using as a pillow during his nightmare is Gravitation by Meisner, Thorne, and Wheeler. The coordinates for Hathaway's house are given in the film as 34D, 10M, 15.21 S North, 119D, 7M, assuming the longitude is in the Western Hemisphere. That's somewhere in the area of farmlands east of Oxnard, California. The script gave a slightly different set of coordinates: 34 degrees, 10 minutes, 15 seconds north, 118 degrees, 9 minutes, 3 seconds west. The building at that location is a mortuary in Pasadena, a few blocks north of Caltech. The recurrence of the initials DEI in the movie is no accident. The truck that is used to transport the popcorn to Dr. Hathaway's new house has Drain Experts Incorporated emblazoned on its side. The company Chris interviews with at the beginning, and which funds Dr. Hathaway's show, is Darlington Electronics Instruments. The initials are rumored to have been inscribed by Caltech alumni at, among other places, the summit of Everest, on the moon, and on many satellites and space probes manufactured at Jet Propulsion Labs, which sits just up the hill from Caltech in Pasadena. There has long been an unofficial contest to see who could place the letters DEI into the most prominent public view. Their placement in this film was with the full complicity of director Martha Coolidge and her Caltech advisor, David Marvitt. When Chris and Mitch enter the plane, a background technician speaks final check, latitude 65 degrees, 19 minutes, longitude 44 degrees, 9 minutes. These coordinates lie in Russia, just below the Arctic Circle near the White Sea, which was a key Soviet, now Russian Federation naval and submarine base. In case anybody was wondering what the actual target at the end was. Yeah. The math professor portrayed in the movie is played by Dr. Martin Gunderson, who is actually a physics professor at the University of Southern California. In a scene where the military is set up for the laser test fire, the cars in the procession on the dirt road are set up to replicate the JFK assassination. All sorts of creepy shit they can do with this laser, folks.
Yeah.
Stuff the movie does
applications, yeah.
Go into. Yeah. All right, moving on. When Mitch rides the cart into the steam tunnels, the viewer briefly sees the quotation, "Against stupidity, the gods themselves contend in vain," scrawled on the left wall. These are a translation of a quotation from the German poet Friedrich Schiller. Relevant to the film, Isaac Asimov wrote a science fiction novel, The Gods Themselves, originally published in 3 parts as Against Stupidity, The Gods Themselves, and Contend in Vain. The 1972 novel was about a conspiracy by aliens who inhabit a parallel universe with different physical laws than ours, who are trying to turn our sun into a supernova in order to collect the resulting energy for their own use. The background music playing during Chris's Darlington interview is an easy jazz or elevator music version of the 1972 pop song Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, written by Elliot Laurie and recorded by Laurie's band Looking Glass on their debut album named for the band. The make and model of the motorcycle that Ick is seen riding outside of Hathaway's house is a BMW R100 RT. When Chris wakes and cuts the CO2 chips for the vending machine, he is wearing Heckle and Jekyll slippers. They were 2 magpies that played endless tricks and practical jokes on those that interfered with any of their schemes. At around the 56-minute mark, just after Chris feeds his fish and Laszlo peeks his head out the door, the newspaper clip on the wall appears to show a picture of Jim Morrison in the lower left corner. Val Kilmer plays Chris in the movie, would later play Morrison in Oliver Stone's The Doors, as we mentioned during the show. Director Martha Coolidge said of this movie, quote, "The audience has a kind of sixth sense. They know when they're being lied to. I was taken by the story from the start. I'm fascinated by science, but I needed to make the comedy work and the characters worth caring about. We had to do our homework." See, remember back when filmmakers cared about
Yeah.
where the audience bought into, Yeah. The California Institute of Technology, colloquially known as Caltech, became a role model for the mythical fictional Pacific Tech in this picture. This included in areas ranging from terminology to teaching methods to clothing styles. The dress code at Tech varies from casual to sloppy. David Marvin, who portrays a student in the hall, told a filmmaker at one point. Marvin said, "When you've got so much else on your mind, you can't be concerned with appearance." One of the film's costumers during the Caltech campus put it her own way. "Good heavens," she explained. "Do these people all dress in the dark?" Hello to JPRPH1 joining us. Yeah, I almost didn't make the show myself, so I understand. In their research for the movie, producer Brian Grazer and director Martha Coolidge were not surprised to discover that the term genius applies as well to a genius from mischief. Coolidge said, "Some of the most inspired practical jokers on college campuses are in advanced science programs. They see a situation which seems perfectly normal and ask themselves, what's the funniest, most amazing thing I can do to turn this situation upside down? It's not just high spirits, but a release, a kind of safety valve against the tremendous academic pressure that they're under." It became a basis for a lot of the story's humor. With one notable exception, the antics in the film are based on stunts pulled off in higher educational institutions, such as England's Cambridge University, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Caltech. For example, the appearance of a student in a student bedroom of an automobile with its motor still running is based on an actual incident, as was the state-of-the-art seminar in which a tape recorder delivers a lecture to a room full of other recording machines. The event, dubbed Smart People on Ice, featuring the conversion of Pacific Tech Dorm to a winter carnival, complete with a skating rink and a bobsled course by laying down a carpet of frozen volatile gas, is similar to a prank staged annually at Caltech. There, the students take it even further, using a circular stairway as a bobsled run, then white water rafting through the dormitory corridors when the ice melts. The one prank which was totally new both to solid state physics and filmmaking, was the transformation of a Victorian home into a giant popcorn popper. While even the screwball stunt was scientifically sound, there was an area in which Martha Coolidge deliberately chose to be inaccurate. That assignment went to visual artist Ron Cobb, who conceived a Hathaway quote unquote death beam. Coolidge explained, "We had to be careful to create a laser weapon which wouldn't work the way it was described in the film. There's been a good deal of discussion recently about such weapons, including the aspects of the Star Wars defense system. We didn't want to inspire any lethal tinkering." All of the laser technology in Real Genius was the real thing, sponsored by Professor Martin Gunderson of the University of Southern California. Gunderson's credentials included a stint with the Los Alamos National Laboratory, where he attempted to develop an infrared laser which would separate uranium without conventional problems of nuclear waste. A laser, explains Gunderson, is a mechanism in which light waves are focused through gases or other matter. They are then emitted as a narrow, intensive beam. Starting with the invention of the maser, an early microwave version, at Columbia University in the 1950s, for which Professor Charles Towns would win a Nobel Prize, laser technology went off in several different directions, Gunderson added. At the time this film was made, lasers are being used in medicine to weld detached retinas, in communications, coupled with fiber optics to carry information over telephone lines, video recordings with laser discs later to evolve into DVDs, and in energy conservation and in other fields. Their military application, anticipated by science fiction, as has often been the case, had recently become the subject of intense study and controversy. The lab scenes in Real Genius employ two sophisticated lasers, a blue-green argon laser and a tunable dye laser, which work in tandem. The dye is mixed with liquid and flowed in front of the argon laser, which in technical terms excites it, said Gunderson. The dye laser then emits a beam of light, which can be turned into virtually any color by turning a knob, like fine-tuning a television set. During a crash course in laser technology, the cast and crew received a demonstration of the dye laser as it darted through the colors of the spectrum. Cinematographer Vilmos Zsigmond was troubled. "The naked eye can see the beam coming toward it," he explains, "but it's almost invisible to the camera when it's going away. We went through countless experiments before we learned to bounce the beam and to fill the lab set with smoke, which scattered the light and gave it definition. Otherwise, we would have had a special effect so special, no one would have been able to see it." While the fictional tech task force was absorbed in laser science for purposes of the script, the filmmakers were grappling with their own technological problems. That exercise began in Laszlo Holyfield's lair when the steam tunnels beneath the dorm. After several reconnaissance trips to the Caltech campus, production designer Justin Russo, special effects coordinator Phil Corey, and the respective staff proceeded to create Holyfield's hideaway at the Hollywood Center Studios. Russo said, "The multi-directional elevator, which takes him to his den, was the first challenge. When completed, it consisted of a car controlled by a rotating screw, which descended through an elevator shaft to a turntable. At that point, it met a horizontal track and a hidden drive chain, like those used to operate roller coasters. At the end of the track, another rotating screw took over, plunging the car into the dorm's lower depths. There, the filmmakers created a slew of gadgets mirroring the mind of a troubled genius who'd opted out of society, but had not yet rejected creature comforts. Typical was a toaster, which not only browned the bread, but sprayed on a stream of melted butter and jelly, and a quixotic coffee brewer, which operated on a microwave principle. The piece de resistance was the automated scribbler, which enabled Holyfield to submit 1,600,000 separate entries to the Frito-Lay sweepstakes, creating the mathematical possibility of winning 32.6% of the prizes, including the car. On one of the studio sound stages, the Pacific Tech dorm was prepared in preparation. I'm reading it like it says, folks, for the Smart People on Ice sequence. To create the bobsled run and skating rink, thousands of feet of tubing connected to a powerful refrigeration unit were buried beneath the floor of a 40-foot corridor. The hallway was then covered with crushed ice and watered several times daily. Director Martha Coolidge said, "It looked great, but with all that ice, we worked for 2 weeks in the equivalent of a meat locker. It isn't too often you find film crews in the fall in Hollywood reporting to work in parkas and thermal underwear." Among the accessories for the Winter Carnival were custom ice skates made by the special effects department from implements including baking pans, auto parts, and surfer sneakers. For the Tanning Invitational, staged by Chris, to introduce his sexually deprived classmates to the student body of the Wanda Trussler School of Beauty, the production unit moved to the Veterans Administration Hospital in Sepulveda. Producer Brian Grazer explained, "We needed an auditorium in which we could rig a swimming pool, and the theater at the VA hospital had an orchestra pit, which was perfect for that purpose." Fresh from 2 weeks in cold storage, the production crew now proceeded to flood the orchestra pit and create a tropic atoll on the stage above it. Included in the effort were several hundred cubic yards of sand, an oasis of palm trees and lush foliage, a pump-operated waterfall, 2 small water slides, and a giant aquatic slalom fashioned from the emergency chute of a 747 jetliner. ABC Motion Pictures was initially going to finance the film, but ultimately backed out, allowing TriStar to pick up the production. According to the 80s Movie Rewind website, in a trailer for the film, there are several scenes not appearing in the final cut. One of them is what they mentioned before, Val Kilmer floating outside of a dorm window, sitting in a deck chair carried by helium balloons. Some movie posters for the film featured long text preambles that read, "Meet Chris Knight, the Einstein of the 80s. When his professor steals his prize invention, he turns revenge into high comedy. When he gets mad, he doesn't get even, he gets creative. He can turn lasers into light shows, armchairs into aircraft, and high tech into hijinks. But when his professor steals his prize invention, yeah, okay." According to the article, The Road to Hollywood, director Martha Coolidge's long trek to real genius, published in the August 7th, 1985 edition of the Washington Post. To prepare for Real Genius, Martha Coolidge spent months researching laser technology and the policies of the CIA and interviewed dozens of students at Caltech. According to the article Fun with the Whiz Kids by Paul Antanasio, published in the same story, the screenplay was extensively rewritten, first by Lowell Ganz and Babaloo Mandel, who wrote Splash, and later by Coolidge and P.J. Tarakovi. The character of Jordan, played by Michelle Meyerink, was the basis for the animated character Gadget Hackwrench, voiced by Tress MacNeille, in Disney's Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, according to the show creator Tad Stones. Milton, one of the fellow geeks at the pool party, is played by Dean Devlin. He went on to become a producer for large films such as Stargate, Godzilla, and the Independence Day films. In one laser prep scene, Chris is seen wearing a sweatshirt with the Monkees logo. Fellow co-stars Monty Landis and Severn Darden appeared in several episodes of The Monkees. In 2010, William Atherton told the AV Club that the popcorn used in the final scenes was treated with a flame retardant chemical, so the crew went to great lengths to guard it being eaten by birds, which would have died from the contaminant. Atherton also said that even with a machine in the studio dedicated to doing nothing but popping the popcorn, it took 3 months to pop it all.
Wow.
Kent's car, pranked and later used by Mitch and Chris, is a 1972 Citroen DS21. The model featured in Citroen's unique height-adjustable hydropneumatic suspension, hence the car bouncing up and down when the boys managed to reassemble it inside Kent's dorm room. As of 2018, all the songs on this film's soundtrack are available on iTunes except for 3. The Tough Do What by Tony OK, I'm Falling by the Comsat Angels, and You're the Only One by Paul Hyde and the Paolas. James Roday has stated that his character Sean Spencer on the TV show Psych is an homage to the character of Chris Knight. At the 14-minute, 30-second mark, Chris asked Mitch if he could classify the drone escape as a launch or a design problem. Stack of comments on Chris's side of the room. On the carpet in front of Chris is a stack of Teen Titans by DC Comics. The Teen Titans were smart and underestimated heroes who could outwit their antagonists through teamwork, similar to Chris, Mitch, Jordan, and Nick. William Atherton's real name is William Atherton Knight. Coincidence? I think not. As revealed in the documentary Val, some of the pictures on the wall in Mitch and Chris's room were drawings made by Val Kilmer's brother, Wesley. Yuji Okamoto and Gabe Jarrett would go on to fight Ralph Macchio in the Karate Kid films, 2 and 3 respectively. This was the final film of Eno Gold. John Grise and Sandy Martin would both later appear in Napoleon Dynamite. After Chris tells Mitch the importance of studying philosophy with science so as not to go crazy, he says the first thing Mitch should do is get even with Kent because it would be a moral imperative. Immanuel Kant, a name similar to Kent, is a philosopher famous for his categorical imperative that states, act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. Thus, Kent's actions against Mitch make it morally permissible for others to do the same to him. Yes, indeed. As we mentioned earlier, Michelle Meyerink, who played Jordan, was also in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yep.
Chris gives Hathaway the apple after the final. He plugs his ears as he walks out of the classroom. The part where Chris tells Mitch to take a step back and a step forward and never trying was not in the script. According to Gabriel Jarrett, it was a bit improvised by Val Kilmer while they were doing a screen test together. The young girl at the end of the movie enjoying the popcorn that's taking over Hathaway's house, more noticeable than the other kids, is Tina Pezzanelli, who went on to who later went to Pacifica High School in Gordon Grove, California. Okay. Fair enough. Robert Prescott, who played Kent, and Patty Durbinville, who played Sherry, would both later appear on The Sopranos. In the opening, it is established that Mitch is 15. Gabe Jarrett was actually still 14 when filming began in the fall of 1984. When Chris says self-realization, I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said, I drank what? It's a joke referring to how Socrates was sentenced to death and forced to drink poison hemlock. In the opening credits sequence gives away a major plot point. At the beginning of the film, the Carmen McRae song, "You Took Advantage of Me," plays as a series of drawings depicting the advancement of weapons are being shown. Later in the film, it is revealed that Chris and Mitch were taken advantage of by Hathaway as they were secretly creating a weapon. Okay, let me scroll back up. There's one more. The popcorn trick sequence began with the construction of a full-sized Victorian frame house on a plot in Sand Canyon, California. California, not far from Los Angeles. Within the house, special effects coordinator Phil Corey and his crew devised an elaborate network of conveyor belts, hydraulic lifts, air blowers, and vacuum hosers. I almost said hoses.
Roses.
Hoses. Oh, me speak good Sunday. Which would on cue turn 190,000 pounds of popcorn into a hot buttered tornado, blowing out the windows, doors, and roof of the structure. To film the Colonel Carnage, director Martha Coolidge positioned 5 cameras around the building in classic "Anytime You're Ready" CB tradition, including one on a 300-foot crane at the Hollywood Center Studios. A 2-level set was constructed. On one level was built the interior of the mansion, decorated in the kind of eclectic, expensive kits a phony like Jerry Hathaway might fancy. The lower level contained a vast 20 by 20 by 20 storage tank to hold the popcorn until required. With Rube Goldberg ingenuity, the crew built 6 air poppers, each 10 feet high, capable of popping 2,400 pounds of corn an hour. Made of sheet metal and heated by propane gas, the poppers fed the tank through the pressure of the popping corn itself in a system of air blowers. A conveyor belt and another set of blowers then swirled the popcorn up through the floor to inundate the set into confectionery debris to a height of 20 feet, producer Brian Grazer explained. To put it as simply as possible, the entire set was one enormous popcorn popper. That still, however, was not enough. When more popcorn was needed to complete the deluge, the Lapidus Popcorn Company of Los Angeles, California, pitched in with an additional 90,000 cubic feet. Grazer added, "We eventually used enough popcorn to feed 720,000 moviegoers, each
Oh
eating
my God.
at the largest tub sold at theaters. At retail, the cost would have been $1,800,000. But since we were among the world's largest consumers of popcorn, if only for about 5 minutes, we received a substantial discount." Okay. And, all right, that's it. That is the trivia for Real Genius.
Cool.
According to IMDb Pro, the scrolls are closed.
Did you enjoy the rewatch? Did you enjoy this?
Yeah, I did. It's fun. Fun movie.
I got a doozy for us coming up for next week.
Okay.
We're going to do Broken Arrow with Christian Slater and John Travolta.
Nice. Directed by John Woo, from the writer of Speed.
Yep. And we're going to follow that one up after that one. The week after, we're going to follow it with another Christian Slater film. And Morgan with Hard Rain after that.
Oh, nice. All right. Cool.
So stay tuned to this channel, to these channels, where we bring you the action, getting back to the action, and then we'll probably get back to a Bond film, and then a few other tricks up our sleeve, some of the ones that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today, this afternoon, this evening. for our friend across the pan, Words and Pictures, JP Arch 1, FKHC 2005, Venabite, Connie Clary, our friend and sponsor, Birdwoman of YouTube. Let's see, who else?
Daniel Berry's Sports Highlights. Why didn't you come in? Hello?
Yeah.
Daniel's Hot Topics.
Mm-hmm. Without you guys, we much wouldn't be possible. So we really appreciate you, and we're happy that you can at least stop by and say hello. If you really want to give any suggestions or just make a comment, we really appreciate that too. Comments make us happy more so than a thumbs up. But you can still give a thumbs up if you like it, if you like this program. As always, I'll say my parting words. Always be excellent to one another. Party on. And we can't wait to see you on the next one. Deleted?
Right. And I would like to also, once again, thank everyone who is watching along with us. I do want to remind everyone that if you were catching up with this movie later on, that you will need either your own physical copy or you'll need to follow along. This Real Genius is currently available to rent or buy on pretty much most of the streaming channels. Sadly, not Netflix, so yeah, you will have to rent or buy it, including Fandango at home and Amazon. And as I say at the end of every show, thank you all for being here. From HQ, our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe and healthy. Don't piss off a genius because he might turn your home into a big popcorn popper. Because this is how we win.